Hello and welcome to this episode of Behind the Network. In this video we'll be discussing the VFX work for the Futurama video. The main task for this project was creating a 3D environment for the cryo room along with the cryopod itself, which was going to need to replace a stand-in prop in the physical set. The physical set featured a blue screen and then some chairs and a basic table with a pizza box, but the table would have to be replaced along with the background. Before we go further in depth with the 3D scene, I'd like to go over some of the other shots that had some VFX work done to them. For when Leighton comes out of the elevator, the practical location was just a second floor elevator, so it needed to have the illusion that it was much higher up. So by hiding the window, it gives the appearance that it's much higher up, and the sliding doors that lead to the skyway can look like the windows up on the floor. The next shot would be the outside of the cryogenics chamber, where we have the filming location being outside of a laundry room, but it looked pretty close to the cartoon location as far as the door handle and everything. So some cleanup work on the walls and some replacement shadow work was done, and then of course replacing the budget sign with something that was a better match to the pilot episode. So after those shots were adjusted, we have the rest of the interior of the cryo room, which was replaced in almost its entirety, save for some elements of the floor and the pizza box and the chair. The cryo chamber and the cryo tube were done inside of Blender 3D, and those were achieved just by starting with some basic shapes in the 3D modeling program and adding up the detail, and eventually adding some textures and lighting and getting everything looking the way that we wanted. The cryo tube that our hero goes into was set up to be slightly different, but reusing the base assets for the rest of the cryopods in the room so that the file would be a little bit lighter. So some efficiencies were achieved there, and then the door was animated closed and rendered out with the different camera angles, including one of the match move shots. Some efficiencies that were done with the 3D scene were to instance parts of the cryo tube that would be reused and not changing between the different models. And then if, say, we have one door on the hero model that needs to be animated, we have that one separate, and then instance a non-moving door for the rest of the cryo tubes. Same with the light. The rest are all using the same unit, and then the one for the hero pod is different. The tubing on the top was done using a spline that comes out of the top, so I've got a modeled cap on the top based off of the reference from the cartoon, and then a spline is coming out of that. That way I could change that without it taking up a whole lot of geometry. So those are just using some basic splines that are extruded, and then they're curving about. So they use a shader that's all shared across them all, but the positioning of those are slightly different, just to add some variation. The room itself was meant to mimic the look of the one in the show, along with the power core that looks like it's on the side there. And then we have the CG table, just a basic square table, if you will. So that one wasn't as elaborate as, say, the cryo tube and the rest of the elements in the room. The background was done with a card in the background with a picture of a city, and kudos if you recognize the city in the background. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the network for more videos. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions, or if you would like to make a recommendation on things that you'd like to see in the future. Thank you.